guys, thanks for checking out our channel. Today we're here doing our question and answer video that we had promised you guys. So we pulled a whole bunch of questions from each social media platform that we have, and we're going to try and do our best to answer them.
Yeah, we'll answer as many as we can. And before we get started, today was the US Open, so huge shout out to Jason Belmonte for completing the Super Slam and winning the US Open. And remember, if you have any other questions that you don't see in this video and you want them answered, comment down below or check us out on Facebook. And also, if you're on Facebook and you're interested in any of the merch that we got, water bottles and everything, message us on there or email us at dhbowling2019@gmail.com and we'll get you a price list and info on how to get this stuff if you want to wear some. We appreciate everything you guys do, so that'd be really cool to see some more of it out there and outside of Windsor area.
All right, so let's get started.
All right, you want to draw the first one? We got a box down here of the questions. You can draw the first one.
All right. Okay. From DR on our YouTube channel, it says, question for both. If you were building an arsenal for the USBC Open, 9 games, 2 patterns, both unknown, what setup would you both take?
All right, you want to answer first or you want me to answer first?
We can kind of go at the same time, I think.
All right. I think I've personally bowled the Open, and I don't think you've bowled it yet, right? We're hoping to get there and get a team together. But in my opinion, the biggest thing with the Open and any tournament where you don't know the pattern, controllable bowling balls.
Yeah.
Stuff that you can control down lane motion with, stay as far to the right as you can, break them down as a team, and then try to follow them left when you can score better. But controllable stuff that you're going to be able to read a pattern off of, it'd be my biggest key to anything where you don't know the pattern.
And I think, too, just having, like, a good combination of something. So, like, spare ball for sure.
Yep.
Your plastic. I think, like, a good maybe ASIM pearl, ASIM solid maybe.
Yep.
And then symmetric.
Yeah, a good mix of symmetric stuff and different covers and stuff that you know you're going to be able to cover a lot of different conditions with.
Yeah.
I think nowadays, depending on your rev rate, one urethane ball in there is not a bad idea, especially for the fresh.
Yeah. Especially for the guys. I mean, some women maybe could get away with not bringing a urethane.
I think it depends on your game, and you have to just judge that based off what you know yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing at the Open is controlled bowling balls that you can hit the pocket with and make spares, because it's a grind.
Yeah.
And,
it's long.
And you got to be okay with not striking the first game.
Yeah.
If you can get your team to work together, don't strike the first game as much. Make your spares, stay clean, shoot 2-0 the first game, and then go 220 or better the second game and third game. That's how you put good blocks together, is having a good game plan in place and sticking to it.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest keys, I think, for the Open.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully that answers your question.
So.
You want me to read them?
Yeah, you draw them and read them.
All right. One here. Okay, Brian Paul 09 from Instagram. Can you all tell us more about your bowling background and beginnings?
That's a good question. I like that one.
Yeah, you start.
So myself, I started at a little 12-lane center that's about a half hour outside of Windsor, Ontario. It was called Thunder Bowl. Wood lanes, old center, tiny league, and my mom helped run the youth league there. She bowled a league there. My grandpa bowled a league there. So my family got me started, and I mean, I guess I technically started on plastic pins in my grandparents' hallway, but
yeah, for sure.
But that's where I
do that at home.
Yeah, I might. It's fine. Hey, you got to practice when you can. And that's where I started, and then when I was 16, I moved up to Rose Bowl in Windsor because that center unfortunately closed. And we were friends with the mechanic, and that's where he went. And so we decided that's where we were going to go. And I've bowled there ever since, and that opened the doors to Team Southern Ontario for me when I was a youth, and then more competition and bowling in the United States in Michigan. And it's just kind of grown from there, and it just helped my obsession grow and get me to where I am today. And it was probably the best move I ever could have made.
And me, I started bowling at our local center, Rose Bowl, in Windsor here when I was 3 years old. So I've been bowling for about 25 years now. My mom has always worked in the center. My dad owns the pro shop in the center. So I've kind of just grown up there. Even when I was like a little baby, we were always there. They used to have a daycare there.
You live in the bowling center.
I pretty much live in the bowling center. So, yeah, I mean, my dad taught me pretty much everything that I know today. Yeah, so I just got better over the years, and I bowl a lot in the States, and a lot of local stuff too. And
we're lucky with where we live. We have the access to Michigan and even Ohio and Indiana if we want to. We're nice and close, but we can also go to Toronto, and we're within 4 hours of kind of everything. If we want to bowl every weekend in a tournament, we could. Yeah. It's a pretty prime location to live. It's pretty awesome, and we get a lot of support from the local community, which is pretty amazing.
It's amazing.
So that's kind of where we both started.
Yeah. All right, Brandy Liberty from Facebook. How do you control your nerves during a big tournament? How do you control your nerves?
I think for me, it's just trying to stick to a process, like my pre-shot routine, and make sure that I'm really going through that pre-shot routine and making sure I check every box of what I'm wanting to do, and then just try to execute shots to the best of my ability at that point. I accept you're going to be nervous. Mm-hmm. If you can accept that you're going to be a little shaky and you're going to be a little nervous, and that's okay. It's just understanding that and saying, okay, this is, my body's doing this. That's okay. I can still execute under that. And maybe you move your feet a little slower when you're really nervous so you don't get fast, or whatever your tendency might be. You find out what you need to do to combat that one little thing. You focus on one thing and don't get ahead of yourself. Stay within the moment, and you can't win the tournament on the first day. You just have to take one shot at a time.
Yeah. Same for me. I think that the pre-shot routine is really, really important, just to kind of get in a repetitive routine, I guess.
It creates muscle memory before you even throw the shot, I think.
Right. And I think like a huge thing is just focus on yourself. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. At the end of the day, your competition is yourself. You can't control what other people are going to do. You can only control what you're going to do. So I think that's really huge.
That's a really good point. You can't control outside parameters. Even if your lane breaks down, you can't control that. Yeah. You just have to say, okay, you know what? That's what it is today. My lane's broken down. I have to maybe move pairs, and we're just going to do the best we can on that pair, and then go back to another pair. Maybe it's going to be good. Maybe you like that other pair you moved to.
Yeah, just go with the flow.
So not getting upset about things that you can't control.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Shake them up.
Right. Thoughts on if a spare ball is an important part of your arsenal?
Simple answer and short answer, yes.
Yes, it's the most important ball in your arsenal, in my opinion. I know a lot of people think that it's kind of a wasted spot in your bag. I don't agree with that at all, especially if you are going to be bowling tournaments and stuff like that. Maybe you can get away with it in just league. I don't know. I've been using plastic for a long time, so...
Yeah, I don't think a spare ball necessarily has to be plastic. And I know then it's not a spare ball. Well, it's the ball you throw at spares. And I think a urethane ball is okay for some people. I personally don't do it. If I'm in a tournament and I'm under pressure and I need to make a spare or make a 10-pin and I hit up on the ball a little bit, with a urethane ball it might hook. With plastic it's not gonna. It's eliminating another variable. And I know like we had some people ask us, did you use it because it can take away a spot in a limited ball tournament?
I just think that when you go to these tournaments, say Team Canada, for example.
Right.
You never know what you're really going to get. So I think it's a must-have in your bag. Something that's not going to hook away from you, or, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm under the same thing. I think in a limited ball tournament, I think if you have enough tools, I'd rather see people work on creating more tools of what they can do with their hand to create the shapes they need in those type of tournaments, rather than not use a spare ball.
Yeah.
Because if it comes down to single pins and you've missed a couple because you're not throwing a spare ball and you would have made them with plastic, well, those couple pins could have got you through the cut or got you on to a team or got you a win in a tournament if it's a real grind. So I think it's a huge tool. I won't bowl a tournament without it.
Yeah, me either.
If it was limited to 4 bowling balls, I would still put a plastic ball
Same.
in and figure out how to make the other ones at least
Work.
get close enough to strike as much as I can.
Yeah. I think a lot of those tournaments depend on spare making too much for you not to use a spare ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
In my opinion.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
The harder it is, the more you need a spare ball.
Yeah. Alright. Troy Setterland from YouTube. Do you have the same philosophy of picking up the 10 pin, going over the middle arrow? Don't use mark and just sight on the pin. Practice routine.
You want to start on this one? How do you shoot 10 pins?
So,
what's your philosophy on spare shooting? Because mine's a little different. So.
Yes. My opinion, I don't think there's really a right or wrong way to shoot at a 10 pin. I think that over time you'll learn little tricks and tweaks that work for you or don't. So when I was being taught, I was always taught to look at the shadow of the 10 pin and then kind of draw an imaginary line back to my target where I look.
Right.
So normally I will stand 32 with my feet. I'll look at the shadow of the pin and draw a line back to 18, and then I should make it every time if I hit my mark.
Yeah, and so my philosophy on spare shooting in general is a little different, and it's changed over the years. I used to have an exact board I stood on with my feet and an exact target I wanted to hit for each pin. And a great friend of mine, Dan McClellan, I was struggling and he said, hey, this is what I do, why don't you try it? And I've used it ever since. I use 4th arrow, so center arrow, for every spare I shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I line my shoulders up with it. I don't look at where I stand with my feet. I line my shoulders up with it and the pin, and I just by feel can shoot that spare. Not everyone can do that.
Yep.
It's not going to work for everybody. It works for him. It works for me. If you're struggling, maybe try it. If you're not struggling, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you're making all your spares, keep making them. But that's just a technique that has worked for me, and it works. I can literally pick any arrow I want, line my shoulders up, and have a chance to make that spare. And my spare game's gotten better since I've done that.
Yeah. And like you said, what I do might not work for you. What he does might not work for you. And even, it depends on what house you're bowling in. Sometimes
Yeah,
you
sometimes
have
the
to change
feel is
things
different.
up, So that's just what I do.
Yeah, so there's no right or wrong way. At the end of the day, the goal of a spare is to make the spare.
Yeah.
So if you make the spare
Golden.
and somebody don't like how you shot it, that's fine, because you made
it.
the spare. So just go out, whatever your practice routine is, practice that and practice making the spares. As long as you're consistent and you can do it from practice to tournament, I think that's the biggest key.
Yeah, I agree.
Want to do like one more?
One more. All right.
Okay, make it a good one.
Okay. All right. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but I need 007 from Instagram. What ball would you suggest for me to get as the big asymmetrical ball in my bag? I have the Halo Pearl, High Road Nano, Phase 2, and Daredevil Danger. I was thinking of the Prime, Physics, or UFO.
All very good options, I would say.
Very good options. It depends on your game, too.
Yeah, it depends on what you like. I think any of those would fit. Characteristics-wise, if those are the 3 you're thinking of, the Prime is the slowest of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's really round, really controllable, and probably the smoothest of the 3.
Yeah, I agree.
The Physics is probably the most versatile. hybrid,
You could probably
asymmetric. You can kind of
blend out more patterns with the physics, maybe?
Yeah, it's really usable. You can use it on a lot of different stuff. It's kind of like an asymmetric phase 2.
Yeah.
So if you like the phase 2, you might like the physics. And then the UFO is kind of the strongest of the three and kind of combines the shapes of the two of them. It's not as angular as the physics, it's not as slow as the prime, it's kind of right in the middle,
Yeah.
but probably covers more boards.
A little rolly.
Yeah, it's rolly, but it's got a little punch down lane too. I wouldn't call it overly unique, but it's a really, really strong, controllable motion.
Yep.
And I like the UFO a lot. So I think any of the three are good.
I think they're good too.
It's hard to go wrong with a lot of the stuff we have out right now, honestly. Not trying to sound staffer biased, but there's a lot of good options out there right now for strong asymmetric solids, which looks solid or hybrid by the sounds of what you're looking for.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully we answered your guys' questions pretty good.
Yeah, if you have any other questions for us or suggestions for future videos, make sure you comment them below. We want to hear from you guys. We want to stay interactive and know what you guys want to see because we want to bring it to you.
Yeah, and keep subscribing and watching our stuff because we always have fresh content coming out. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bells.
All right, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.
See you later.